I think it's hilarious that this movie got Mel Gibson, who is cuckoo crazy, to be the voice of a cuckoo rooster in this film. He's already cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and here he is. That's just irony and great storytelling. Chicken Run, released in 2000 and is directed by Peter Lord and Nick Park, who are two of the visionary minds behind the very beloved British comedy stop-motion picture Wallace and Gromit. And this film is starring the voices of Phil Daniels, Lynn Ferguson, Mel Gibson, Tony Haygarth, Jane Horrocks, Miranda Richardson, Julia Swala, Timothy Spall, Milda Stanton, and Benjamin Withrow. And once again, a huge shout out goes to the sponsors of this review. They made a PayPal donation for me to review it. They are the kings and the queens of the PayPal recommendation option. Mr. and Mrs. Rusted Beetle, you two are just fantastic. Again, I am so humbled by your support. If any of you out there want to dethrone these two as the PayPal donation king and queen, they have been reigning on top for so long. They are really the biggest supporters of this channel, but if you want to dethrone them at all, you can make a PayPal donation on the main page of my YouTube channel. Any size donation will do. Just attach your movie with the donation, and if I have access to it, I will watch it and publish my review of it as quickly as I possibly can, and give you a shout out at the beginning of the video like this. A group of chickens are living on an egg farm owned by the Tweedies. However, the chickens are under a ton of pressure because if they don't meet their egg count by the end of the month, they are beheaded and served as chicken pot pie. So tired of being prisoned in this life of servitude, the chickens attempt to orchestrate different prison break attempts, but unfortunately all of them fail. In comes a flying rooster voiced by Mel Gibson, who strikes a deal with the chickens to be hidden from the Tweedies in exchange for his lessons on how to fly over the fence and to freedom. I gotta say, I love it when animated pictures do a meta-type storytelling device like that. Literally the very first line that Mel Gibson has in this movie, he's what seemingly looks like he is flying into the chicken coop, and he yells, "Freedom!" Braveheart was 1995, this film was 2000, Mel Gibson was still okay in our eyes back then, so he's okay in this movie, right? I'm okay to talk about him, right? Without being, crucified by people in the comments. Actually, I probably shouldn't use that word when talking about Mel Gibson. It's probably bad. I remember watching this movie vaguely as a child, back when my family was actually a family and we would watch movies that we rented from the video store. Do you remember those things? Yeah, those were fun. But I remember watching this movie and I don't think that we finished it, because I don't think that I was really enjoying it, and I don't think anyone else in my family was really into it, or didn't really understand the animation style, because at that age, in my mind, it was Disney or nothing. So this animation style, this style of stop motion, wasn't really connecting with us, so I think we turned it off, and I don't think I ever finished this thing. Shame on me. Shame on me for doing that, because this film is actually very impressive, and as I'm looking up research on this was the first full-length feature of the film studio Dreamworks, the movie that has brought you Shrek and the Minions over the last several decades. It all started with this one, and I think it's a hell of a start. I've never seen any of the Walter and Gromit films or TV specials. I think they were a TV special. I don't know. Goes to show you what I know about them. But looking at previews of that cartoon in the styling of this one, I mean, the styles are almost identical. It's stop motion, it's claymation, but the claymation is so smooth and so clean. I love it. Except when we get to Mrs. Tweedy. I think there's a moment in there when they have a huge zoom in on her face and she's planning and contemplating bringing in the chicken pot pie machine, and I could have sworn, looking like in her forehead, I saw someone's thumbprint. It's okay though, I think maybe it's a metaphor for what the audience wanted to do to this person, just put a thumb in her eye, because she's an evil, evil character. Which I think is the aspect of this film that I love the most. We have a villain that is pure evil, and we have a villain who wins at certain points and takes out certain of these animated claymation stop-motion characters. If these chickens don't deliver on their egg count, they are physically taken from their prison, and we really don't see it, but we see a silhouette and we see a shadow of the beheading, and these chickens are murdered. they are killed right in front of our eyes. Kudos to an animated movie for going that dark. I know we've seen deaths in Disney and animated films before. It's not like we haven't seen it all before. It's just this time around, it was just nonsensical. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't done for dramatic effect. This was just dead. Done. It's the aspect of Game of Thrones that made Game of Thrones so awesome. It's because characters would die, and it would just be, yeah, they're dead. That happens. That would happen in this time. It's not done for glory, and it's not done with a dramatic soliloquy. It's just, you messed up. You dead. You done. Bye-bye. Which raises the stakes of this movie tremendously, so you as the audience member are just, they're cheering these chickens on. Get the heck out of there! Are you gonna be my meal? And I love the concept of this movie. These chickens, yes, they're in their little pens and everything, but if you look at it from their point of view, they're in a concentration camp. They are prisoners of war, and they're digging tunnels trying to get out. This is Hogan's Heroes, but with chickens, and a lot more traumatizing. Needless to say, I definitely loved it a lot more this time around than 21 years ago when I saw it for the first time. There's a great message here too, where it's just teaching you to believe in yourself, and it's showing you that the human spirit, or the humanistic spirit, seeing how these are all chickens, the humanistic spirit desires freedom, and it desires not to be kept in a boundary somewhere. It has desires to be out and about and have free will, but of course when you're in this prison, you feel less than, and you feel worthless. So to see these chickens, these characters, go from a state of feeling depressed and helpless to feeling inspired and brave, I think, again, it's very inspiring. And even though there are some dark scenes in here and some dark aspects, I still think that this film is for really all ages. Yes, the Tweeties are very scary, and they do kill a couple of characters in this film, but again, it's still a fun time all the way around. And kudos to the writers for not taking the character of the rooster and putting him in like a big sexual conquest type storyline, because he's the rooster, and you have all these chickens. I mean, they're all goo-goo gaga-ing over him. So we could have gotten like a lot of inappropriate jokes in a kid's movie, and yes, they kind of hint at it, and there are a couple of winks to the camera, but nothing too grotesque or over the top, so I definitely respect and appreciate that from the writer. Surprisingly, I think this movie is a really good time. I found it on Hulu. It's free on there to watch, so if you haven't seen it since 2000, it's definitely worth a watch, especially if you have little kids. I think they would love this thing. I'm gonna give Chicken Run 4 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I like it a lot.
Alright everyone, now usually in this point in the review, I randomly select which movie I'm going to be watching next, but it happened everyone. I received another donation, not from Mr. and Mrs. Rusted Beetle. Someone has dethroned them. I received a PayPal donation from Caleb Etheridge, who actually used to be one of my students many years ago, so I'm not taking money from a student. Just, no. He's graduated from that university, so this is all fine. It's all fine now. Thank you. How are you? But he recommended the very recent summer blockbuster, Tenet, which I have not seen yet. I've actually been very torn on this film because I love Christopher Nolan as a director. He's directed my favorite films, just overall. You all know that. But I also think that he's being a little dick about this whole, well, my movie should be released in theaters, and only theaters. Don't you ever put my movie on streaming service, because I'm a film director, and my film deserves to be in a theater. I think he's just being a whiny little bitch about it, but we'll check it out next time. Again, it's like one of the biggest movies that was released last year, so I definitely think we gotta talk about it eventually. If any of you have recommendations of films that you want me to review on here, just leave a recommendation below this video, or go to my Facebook page, my Instagram, or my Twitter, leave your recommendation there, and if I have access to it, I will watch, review it, and give you a shout out on the channel. So guys, if you've seen Chicken Run, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before, and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell so you know the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time with my review of Tenet. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.